The thing.
Oh, Taya was
We're
already
on.
here.
We are on live. So
Taya is already here. Numero uno.
This is Paul, and I am streaming from I am literally streaming from my mother's basement. You can see the old Tupperware behind me. She would probably be horrified if she knew what portion of the basement I used to do this. But there's a window there, and there's a light bulb there, so this is the best I could do. So, why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Vervaeke, this is Vervaeke's idea. I'm supposed to be on vacation, and here I am doing a live stream. I don't know what's up with that. My mom went out to get her hair done, which I obviously don't need.
Just to fill your video void here, Paul. We're just helping you out with your video void.
Oh, that's so considerate, John. So, okay, John.
All right, shall I get started?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm John Vervaeke, and I am part of the team that organizes the Estuary Chino Conference, and I'm getting some super helpful assistance from Carl Linder, you see below, and I think Carl should be given the opportunity to introduce himself a little bit without necessarily talking about what we're going to do together. We'll get back to that later. Who are you, Carl, and how did you get here?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me, Paul. Great to meet you, John. Thank you. My name's Carl, and my parents are missionaries, and I've always been interested in all this stuff you guys talk about. So, I've got a real, my particular niche is I'm trying to join Douglas Harding's perceptual practices with all the theory and ideas that you guys are talking about.
Okay, that's very interesting. Douglas Harding is someone that's very much this corner adjacent.
Oh, wow.
The Grail Country, that's Nate Heil's channel, did a whole series on Harding. Of course, C.S. Lewis wrote the intro to Harding's book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, no, that's very interesting. So, where did your parents are missionaries? Missionaries, I don't know if there's a place you can say where. I know some missionaries keep that quiet.
Yeah, they were missionaries. Their parents were missionaries as well, and then I was down in the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're in Southern California now.
That's right, in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So I'll be able to pop over for the event.
And how did you find this little corner?
Tim DeRoche.
Yep.
Who you interviewed, also Vervaeke, you're a friend of his. He's been a friend of mine for a number of years. Me and my wife know him and his wife and his kids, and I do some work for him. And yeah. So we've been getting together, talking about you guys for quite a while, having coffee.
Mm-hmm. Good. All right, but you've never made it to the Vervaeke Estuary, huh?
Never, no.
Wow.
Looking forward to it.
John, I don't know how John feels about that.
I will not hold it against him yet.
Thank you.
My head is cold. I'm going to put my hat on. Okay, you guys talk a sec. I'll be right back.
So I just finished watching that video that you posted, Paul, on Voices about Grimgriz's conversation you had a few months ago. And I don't know if you follow that kind of stuff, Carl. Do you know who Grimgriz is?
No, I don't. No, you had mentioned him, and I haven't yet looked into it.
Well, I think that maybe one of the reasons for that is that you definitely come into this little community from the intellectual and ideological angle, and the conversations that at a somewhat higher level. Some people refer to that as the thinky-talky stuff, and then there are other people who are in great need, and I say that very intentionally, in great need of connecting with some people in the flesh. They've been isolated, they've been online, they've been far removed from any social engagement, and so there seems to be a great need for people to touch bases online. I mean, in the flesh. And I thought that the conversation that I saw, the video of Paul with you and Grim, was just phenomenal. I was so impressed by that, and he touched on a lot of things that are the very reason for this conference. So whereas some people are going to come for the big ideas, to hear Paul and Jonathan and John Vervaeke exchange ideas with one another. Some people are going to come to meet some people and to be together with some other people, and they just want to experience life together. And you are going to be a key instrument in that situation. And I would like to elaborate on that a little bit now, if I may, Paul.
Absolutely.
Because in 2016, I walked the Camino de Santiago from Saint-Jean-Pied-du-Port to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. And I was able to to complete 500 miles in 38 days. And along the way, I went all by myself. I didn't come with a companion. Along the way, I met so many people, and some of whom I'm still very close friends with. We ended up sleeping in the same auberge together, and I saw him a number of times. I mean, one of these people I'm specifically thinking about right now, I saw him a couple of times at night, when we would stop for the night, and I became pretty good friends with this guy, and then invited him to come to California, and he did, and then he invited me to come to Germany, and I was ready to go there, and then COVID hit. And
Amazing.
So that road trip didn't exactly happen, but this is my friend Mike. I'm still in touch with him now. Mm-hmm. And on the same vein, we had Job, that was a prominent person in Paul's early days on the channel, and he had a conference in Southern California for a totally different thing, and mm-hmm. he showed up and. Oh, don't do this to me. I can't concentrate if you guys mess with my head.
All right, that'll be good.
I love you too.
I didn't catch that.
So then Job would come to Southern California, and we became the best of friends. I invited him here to come and hang out with me, and we did some things together, and we were going to start a road trip also. And we did another year, and that didn't happen on account of COVID. So we've had a lot of killed road trips, and we're going to fix that. So and then Paul and I went to Europe, and then Job helped us actually do a pretty cool road trip with with us. I mean, when we went to Germany and back, the road trip that we had there was a story by itself that Paul really doesn't want to talk about, so we'll skip that for now. However, here is the thing. The ideal way to come to the Chino conference is to hook up with a few friends and say, hey, we're going to go together. We're going to spend it. We're going to get some lodging together. We're going to rent a car together. And so you arrive in Chino, and all these pieces are in place. But I got an email just the other day from Matthias in Austria, who is a friend with Matthias in Germany, and he said, hey, I'm coming. I'm so excited. I'm coming from Austria. I've got some cheap airline tickets. I'm flying into LA, and from there on, I have no idea what's going to happen. And he is going to come all by himself. He doesn't know anybody. He has made no lodging arrangements. He has no transportation arrangements. And I felt his pain. And that's where you come in, Carl. Because
he should call me.
What we're going to do is we're going to set up a thing. And Carl is going to do that, and so I'm going to let him talk about it, because it's going to involve some questionnaires. Am I right, Carl? You're going to ask.
That's right.
How is this going to work? Tell us about that.
Well, first of all, people could connect with me, and my email will be associated with this video. Is that right?
Yeah.
So they just email me, and I will email them back a questionnaire. I'll just ask if you want to stay in an Airbnb, a hotel, a tent, when you're getting into town, where you're landing, where you live, stuff like that. And you can also post one social profile link so people can get to know you. And if you would like to give me that information, I'll send you a link to a spreadsheet that has other people who would also like shared lodging. And then you guys are responsible for just coordinating all that yourself. So, and once you've coordinated it and found somebody, enough people to get together and make it a fun and inexpensive party, tell me, and I will take your name off that spreadsheet.
Okay.
So it's super simple.
Mm.
So and we're going to also include transportation then, because people may be able to rent cars together, or
That's maybe you and I can talk about that after. The best way to find that out, because maybe people yeah, there'll be
Some people
some
will
questions.
arrive with
Tell
cars.
me what questions you'd like me to ask.
Yeah, some people
that's right.
will arrive with cars, and we'll be able to
Great.
take X number of passengers, and so that'll all be helpful. We're trying to streamline people getting together who don't know each other, and that's the goal of this exercise today.
And tell me and women can be on if you're not opposed to this, women could be on, if they want, they can be on a separate spreadsheet. So it's just women hooking up with women. And if they want, they can be on both, or just the general population one.
It'll be one of the questions, whether they are open to lodging with co-ed or non-co-ed. That's going to be up to the individual people, how they want to organize that.
Sounds good.
So, yeah.
And I apologize, I forgot to ask. I'm just wanted to downshift for a second, go back. Who was the person that did the stuff on Douglas Harding? I just wanted to write that down so I can check that out after this.
Oh, that was Nate Heil. A YouTube channel called Grail Country.
Grail Country. Okay,
Grail
great.
Country. And Nate is in John Van Donk's Elsnet. He has an estuary. He lives in the Pacific Northwest. And so there are different channels in this little constellation that tend to focus on things. And Douglas Harding's very much a part of sort of the Nate Heil corner exciting. Of this corner.
That's exciting. So, that's what I've been playing around with. I was just at a cold plunge, applying some of those principles in order to withstand the 40-degree water, and the ideas and the exercises both made it a wonderful and rewarding experience. Yeah.
Interesting. So in other words, what's going to happen is, do you want to use your email? You're going to give me a special email address for this?
My email. Yeah.
Okay. So I can put that in the comment section, or not in the, I'll put it down below in the notes, so that people can contact you if they're coming into the conference, especially if they're like flying into LAX and that's the last thing that they know. And then this then will help them reduce costs in terms of transportation and lodging, and make the conference quite a bit more doable, especially I would imagine people coming in from a distance, probably especially internationally. So
that's right. And it'll all be on that spreadsheet. You can see who might harmonize with you.
That's terrific. I really appreciate that. Great idea.
Yeah, and it was Carl's idea, so that he wanted to volunteer for that, and so I very much appreciate his initiative there. And so and of course, leave it to me to make things more complicated.
That's what you do, John.
Yeah. So all right. So I mentioned earlier that I went on this pilgrimage from Saint-Jean-Pied-du-Port to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. And the whole notion of pilgrimage is kind of deep in my bones right now. And I've heard some rumors that there may be some people who want to include in this event a pilgrimage to Sacramento to Living Stones.
Oh.
And I am here to totally encourage that, because the distance from Sacramento to Chino is a measly 7-hour drive. I do it all the time because my kids live near where Paul lives. So we go up and down that highway many, many times a year. I was just there a couple weeks ago. So, and so what I am putting on the table is for those people who can get the time off, or who are unemployed or underemployed, to make the pilgrimage to Living Stones in Sacramento.
Gonna walk?
Gonna walk?
Well, actually, I don't want to rule that out. I don't want to rule that out for retired people. But mostly I'm thinking flying into Sacramento.
Oh.
And coming to Paul's Living Stones church on the Sunday prior to the conference.
Oh, okay.
And then taking the trip, leaving on Monday with whatever vehicle they can procure, and Paul will be able to help them with that. You can rent a van, depending on the number of people that are going to do this. So you come to Sacramento, You hang out with Paul on Sunday. You meet Freddie. You may even be able to be on the Freddie and Paul show. And Freddie
Freddie's
would love
pretty
that.
particular. If you bring Freddie a gift, you might get on.
There you go. Make it work, whatever way. Sometimes that's what pilgrimages do. You have to make a peace offering. That's right.
What is he like? What kind of
Freddie?
stuff is Freddie like? Yeah.
Check out the Freddie and Paul show.
T-shirts, anything with logos or memorabilia. He when I went to Europe, he said, "Can you bring me a hat that says Europe?" I said, "I don't know if they have hats that say Europe or not. Maybe the countries, but not Europe." So
anyway, then it's a measly 7 hours if you take the shortest route and go the fastest way. But you can also, for example, decide to take the coastal route and make it a beautiful trip along the California beautiful coast. That is actually a vacation destination for many people. The alternative would be to go across the Donner Pass and take your life into your own hands, and you may end up
pack a lunch though,
cannibalizing each other. Yeah, pack up
or take a friend that's pretty meaty.
Yeah. And then take the 395 south. Then you go through all of California's Sierra Nevada country, and you can see all the snow that we've been accumulating over the. Well, some of the snow might still be there. Let's put it that way.
It will be by May. 395 is gorgeous.
Yeah.
395. Rick is driving down from Sacramento. I bought a plane ticket, but I'm still on the fence if I'll want a car in Southern California. So, but then people have to figure out lodging in Sacramento. So, yeah, but you know.
Oh, it will all be much more complicated. It'll be way more complicated, but that's what pilgrimages are all about, because you go on a pilgrimage to get an indulgence and to take some time off your period in purgatory. So this is a way that you can make that all happen.
I didn't know that.
And especially if you do it with a bunch of similar spirits, and you can enjoy this time together and do some bonding, and you can arrive at the conference in Chino as a pre-assembled paintball for Jesus team.
That sounds a lot more exciting than purgatory. That sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. And then you have to figure out how you're going to get back. So I would strongly suggest that if you're going to do this, that you turn it into a three-way airline ticket, fly into Sacramento, fly out of Ontario. That's
who's the contact point for? Is there anybody coordinating all that?
You are.
Not volunteering. Okay, not it.
See, I should have warned you about John.
Actually, yeah. Carl, all you have to do is make it a question on the questionnaire.
Okay.
I would be interested in flying into Sacramento and driving to Chino with another group of people.
It seems like maybe there should be, maybe that could be. I guess everybody who says yes for that can call each other and see if they can get a big old bus. Yeah.
And we could get Paul involved. I mean, he has nothing else to do in May.
Where are you right now, Paul? You're in your mother's house?
I'm in Whitensville, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And,
that's why it said 1:30.
Rod had a nice shout out to Whitensville, Massachusetts. He and I share some roots here, and but I am in my mother's basement. She is getting her hair done. So I thought, that's a good time to do this when Mom goes out and gets her hair done. Because if you know any women past a certain age, getting that hair appointment is a pretty important appointment. So that's the way it goes.
Hey, Paul. Put Bob DMB. That's the guy who inspired me to do this whole thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And hi, Matthias. I thank you for your email. I haven't responded yet because I wanted to have a few things in place to have available for you, and that's what we're working on right now.
Oh, I see where people are commenting. I didn't see that at first.
Let's see. All right. Is that the bulk of our message? Is that what we are here to deliver? Or did you have something else, John, you wanted to?
No. We've covered from pilgrimage to pilgrimage and everything in between. And I think that it would just be helpful for people to be a little bit proactive, take a little responsibility about, who they're going to room with. I reserved a large block of rooms in one hotel, but there are many other hotels in the area, and there are Airbnbs and there are VRBOs. And so if
How about
people
the
know,
tents?
pardon me?
And
The
there's
Oh,
the
yeah.
campground.
Yeah, I do want to say something more about the tents, because this is really Grimgriz's territory, and I don't want to step on his toes about that. But what I did do was I procured 10 tents that are going to be delivered to the campsite. The cadets of the Crosspoint Church are using it as a fundraiser, and you can rent those for $10 a night, and they will set it up and take it down. And there will each tent will sleep two people. Yeah, each tent will sleep two people. So
how far away from the event is that?
3.8 miles. It's walking distance for the enthusiasts who want to go jogging in the morning.
Mini pilgrimage. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, exactly. And we can create mileposts along the way. We can have little statues that they can pray to, and little figurines of Paul.
Little statues they can pray to. John, you just set the Protestant Reformation back a few
Paul
centuries.
Vander, I heard your conversation with Grimgriz, so I can say whatever I want.
I got to check out Mr. Grizz.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Was I think, John, I linked my first conversation with Grimgriz on CRC Voices, and that's because the nasty truth is that John doesn't watch any of my videos that he's not in himself personally. So,
I'm going to connect with Grim, because this is going to be I share his passion for the channel of the Merck's channel of sorting yourself out, and that is a whole separate audience. I hope that this conference gets advertised on Merck's channel. That'd be a great group of people to have at the conference.
Yeah, and I'm gonna send this out on Twitter, and John says that ticket sales are going well. I want to make sure that the Vervaeke and Pageau elements of the corner get fair whack at this, because I think we've been doing more publicity on my channel than John and Jonathan have, and so I think they'll. I would hate to have. I mean, there's only space for 300, and I'm pretty confident they'll go pretty quickly. So
sales have been brisk. We have money in the bank.
Good. That's good. And people are being judicious with your 2-ticket price levels.
Can I say something about that?
Please do, John. This is your time to say anything you need to say. I'm surprised you're so disorganized right now.
I mean, I'm actually. Never mind. I'm an old man. You know that. I am so incredibly proud of your audience, Paul, because I have sold mostly standard price tickets.
Really?
Very few people are using the discount tickets because they have to.
Wow.
Many people are saying, I'll pay full price if I leave a discounted ticket for someone else.
Wow.
This is the most remarkable thing. I am so incredibly impressed with the generosity of people that are signing up for this thing and paying full price, even if they don't have to.
Wow. So in other words, there's not going to be a lot of Dutchmen there. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, you're now advertising this thing on Voices, so I don't know.
See, Nickerson said the same thing. Are there no Dutch coming?
Are you coming, Philip? Philip, are you coming? Yeah, there you go. Bob is coming from Austria.
Bob's coming from Austria. So
I'm also part Dutch. So
well, there you go. All right. I love the Sacramento idea. I love that idea. And Rick will hear this, and it'll get his wheels turning. Rick has only so many seats in his truck, I haven't decided whether or not I'm driving down. When I did Thunder Bay, I loved flying into Minneapolis and driving up with Luke. That was a high point of the trip, because I tell people that what makes a trip like this are the friends that you make, not just the conference and the speakers and that opportunity, but the relationships that you can build. And so part of me is really, if I didn't have to speak at this conference, and when you have to speak, you have to you need a little bit extra rest. But if I didn't have to speak with this conference, I would totally camp. I think that's going to be an awesome way to go. So.
And
what are the facilities for at the tents? Or maybe you already mentioned that and I missed it.
No, there are showers and bathrooms. I checked that out, and that'll all be just fine. I think you have to bring quarters.
Is there a kitchen area?
If you bring one.
So in other
have you ever
words,
seen a camp
stove?
Have you seen a campground that provides kitchen area?
Some of them do.
I think so, yeah.
Open
I mean,
fires.
those are
Open
pretty
fires.
plush,
You can cook hot dogs.
Yeah, although a lot of the meals in this conference are included with the
also true.
With the price. So people will have to do breakfast themselves. Except for Sunday, there's breakfast. So why don't you run through some basic things again, John, just for those who are watching for the first time?
All right. When people arrive on Thursday, we gather at the church around afternoon, and then go to the Paintball for Jesus venue and do paintball for a couple hours in the afternoon. Then the people that do paintball will go by bus to Graziano's for pizza. And apparently a lot of people want to be there at Graziano's for pizza that do not actually sign up for paintball. So I let that be an open thing. And so people are signing up for that pizza event on Thursday night. So a lot of people are already going to meet there. And then on Friday morning, you show up at 8:30 to make sure you have your wristbands and your registration all taken care of and are checked in. And then you get a little hanger thing with a barcode thing on it or whatever. Grizz will refer to that as the mark of the beast for the conference. And then we have things happening until lunchtime. What Father Eric referred to as funeral meal will be served. Funeral food will be served. And then in the evening, some Italian food will be served. And then the next morning, Saturday morning, there will be a pancake breakfast sponsored by the cadets of Cross Point Church. And they use it as a fundraiser. So I'm paying them good bucks to serve you tons of bacon and pancakes, and it'll be delicious. And then at lunchtime, there'll be more funeral food. And then in the evening, there will be some barbecue meat and also some options for vegetarian people, which will be part of every meal. Every meal will have some vegetarian options. So that means that all your food is covered. Sunday morning, there will be a super light breakfast. Plan on one blueberry muffin and half a banana, something like that.
So in other words, if people are camping, they don't even really have to think much about food.
No.
This food is pretty much taken care of with the conference, with the price of the conference.
Yeah. And if you contemplate the price of the conference and all the meals you're going to get, it's a steal just for the food.
Yeah. Question about the tents: Is there electricity near the tents for or any Wi-Fi?
This is stuff you need to take up with Grimgriz, and I think that there should be another conversation with. Where is Grim when you need him? Why is he not?
I would have expected him to show up in here. So, if he had been here, he definitely would have appeared in the comments. So,
yeah, right. So that question remains unanswered, but I'm not renting out generators or anything like that. But if you want to bring your own, then
Thank you.
People can charge their cell phones at the conference. At Cross Point Church, there's plenty of plugs, outlets there. Gavin said he sent Grizz a DM, so if he pops in the next few minutes, we can throw him into the channel. But Yep. So any other details? Again,
Oh yeah. Because this you asked me to run through the whole conference a minute. So then on Sunday morning after that extremely light breakfast, John Vervaeke will do a guided meditation, and that will be prior to the regular Crosspoint service, where we will. That's actually going to be kind of an interesting experience. We will have a regular Christian Reformed worship service, and we'll plonk a couple hundred people in there who may or may not have any prior experience with being in a Christian Reformed worship service. So, and Paul will be preaching, and so that'll be interesting for those of you who have never heard Paul preach. And he will do his thing, and then we will all disappear for lunch. I think that there will be a speaker's lunch organized for that period of time, and then at 1 o'clock we will all pile on a bus and go to St. Andrew's Orthodox Church, and Jonathan Pageau will be walking us all through the sanctuary of St. Andrew's Church, which is absolutely gorgeous. It is an unbelievable, it's like an art museum. It is so beautiful, all the statues of the saints and all the icons everywhere. And he will be talking about that, and will be introducing us to Orthodox iconography, of which he is somewhat of an expert.
And question, you mentioned speakers dinner, speakers lunch. What is that?
That's where the speakers team disappears from view for a while and enjoys an amazing meal, compliments of Profiles Incorporated.
Thank you.
And you're on your own. You can find McDonald's somewhere.
Oh, delicious.
Matthias from Austria says, camping sounds like an adventure. Would be cool if I could join without gear. So
you don't need to bring a tent.
Don't need to be a tent. Then you just need a sleeping bag or something. And again, maybe via your list, Carl, if people had camping gear that they could lend out or so, that might help some people come into camp, because I think camping is going to be the guy. No, Grim, you have not been replaced. We have a volunteer to help with other lodging details, to basically work a database on helping people get together. But you are very much in charge of the camping. So I dropped the link to the room. So if you can come in, Grizz, you can come in now, and you can answer any questions about Wi-Fi or electricity at the campsite, because we don't know about that. So you have not been. How could you be replaced, Grizz? That's not going to happen. So
no, and I was hoping he would be here right now so that he could speak for himself about all the fine arrangements that he has already made, reservations, etc. Are you presentable, Grizz? Can you show your face?
I don't know. He's
a little cagey.
Well, you never know. He could be on his phone, and we've heard stories about it. So I was buying a new camera. That's right. He's been live streaming without his face. So poor Grizz. Luke saying something horrible. Luke, I don't know. You none of you can be replaced. Luke, you can't be replaced. Grizz can't be replaced. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, they serve the elitist food. That's right. All right. So if Grizz doesn't get in here, any other things, John? Again, you might want to reiterate, John, that the closest airport is the Ontario California airport.
Yes.
LAX, if you're flying in from a distance, might be the cheapest way to get in. And if that's the case, you should definitely hit up Carl's email, so you can take part in that list to organize transportation and lodging. That's going to be especially helpful from people who are coming in from a distance.
Yep. And then those of you who want to go on a pilgrimage from Sacramento, Livingstone to Chino, then you should fly into Sacramento and make arrangements with. Can I make your Yukon available for this, Paul?
I don't have a Yukon anymore.
None at all.
No, I have a three row SUV, but I have to decide. That's sort of my wife's car. My car's smaller, but
nice.
Anyway, we have been joined by Griswold Gaius Grimm, of the LARP Ingression Protocol.
That's me,
I
yeah.
will never forget when you said that to John Vervaeke. I almost hit the floor. I thought, poor John is wondering, what have I gotten myself into? So Grizz, what are the details on the camp?
4 people have indicated interest of camping with us. I have not at all checked into the Wi-Fi and or electricity situation. Someone who is interested wants me to reserve an RV slot, and that has electric hookup. So we might have to walk down the street and hang out at their place. But it's the Give Send Go people called and prayed for me for the event tonight or today, so that was nice. But it's coming together slowly.
Okay, so Grim, what's happening here is that Carl is going to have a database, a spreadsheet for if people are flying into the country or flying into the area, like into LAX, and they don't know what their options are. So he's gonna help hook people up together. If they want to camp, then he can say, all right, we'll talk to Grimgriz and he'll hook you up for camping. If they say they want an Airbnb, but I want to share this with 3 or 4 people, then he can kind of broker people to get together to maybe share an Airbnb. It just makes it all more easy and affordable and organize rides, see who has a car, all that kind of arranging. So that's what he's doing.
And to be clear, and I'm just doing that through a questionnaire. People will just answer the questions. I'll put it on a spreadsheet. Then anybody who puts themselves on a spreadsheet will have access to it and the contact information for all the people who are interested and see where they can harmonize.
So for right now, anybody wanting to get on board with the group I consider interested in camping should email me at grimgriz@gmail.com. I'm going to be doing an update email once there's enough to update those people on.
And there was also the detail that I wasn't sure if you had already made that public information, Grim, is that there are 10 tents available that each sleep 2 people, and they will be set up at your campsite so that people can come relatively unprepared. And
that is my goal. That is the goal. Is that like maybe your sleeping bag, but otherwise it's just a plate. We're giving you the place. So,
right.
And most meals are already included in the conference, so you won't need a bunch of cooking gear or anything like that.
Good. But the Signs and Wonders will perform, and that's going to be a campsite exclusive. You may get to watch the videos, but
wow. I can't wait for the cell phone footage coming out of the camping experience. It's gonna like I said, if I didn't have to speak at this conference, I would definitely camp. That to me sounds like the most fun.
Well,
it'll be the next best thing to Ashbury.
I hear measles.
Better
had a measles outbreak too.
It's going to be better than Asbury without a measles outbreak. And you can get there as early as the 17th and leave as late as the 22nd. So we try to make sure we have the campground secured for all of the Estuary Chino event coverage.
Okay. All right. Any other details or things you can think of?
I don't see any questions in the comments section.
No, it's mostly smart remarks. That's most of the kinds of things. And of course, Luke with his smart remarks.
I'm dying to meet Luke in the flesh.
Luke is an amazing guy. He's a tremendously fun guy, so he should come.
He's been a member of HealthNet for years
and never showed up.
I've never seen him yet. No.
Luke should definitely come. And Luke, you don't even need to bring your passport for this one. He needed to bring his passport for the last one and didn't. So. Yeah, we have smart ass.
Yeah, when I get down to 10 slots left, I might attach a price tag. But right now, I'm like, man, there's a suggested donation of the $25 that it costs to reserve the place to pay back Mr. Fats. But otherwise, there's just a place for people.
All right. Good. So anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to end this live stream and just keep everything in business.
Thanks for letting me participate.
Thank you, Carl. And
Thanks,
I will-
Carl. We'll be in touch,
right.
and we'll refine that questionnaire thing.
Okay.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Good.
Excellent.
You have anything else, Vendonk? Did you want to say any more pilgrimage things?
No,
All right.
it's just that it's an amazing experience.
All right.
I have a friend who says that good things happen on the road.
That's true. That's true. All right. I'm going to end the live stream then. Thank you all for watching, and information down below.
Get your mother from the hairdresser, Paul.
All right.
Bye.